At a loading area, a forklift operator was placing a heavy load onto a truck. As it was set down, the weight shifted and began to tilt dangerously. The operator tried to steady it using the forks, while another worker moved in to help, but the strain was too much. One of the forks gave way, and the load dropped. The assisting worker stepped back just in time, avoiding serious injury. Never try to physically hold or steady a heavy load by hand. Always let equipment handle the weight and keep people clear of the fall zone. Quick reactions can help, but safe positioning prevents the danger in the first place. Inside a busy textile factory, a worker was feeding fabric into an overhead machine. As the material moved upward, part of it suddenly caught and pulled her along with it. For a tense moment, she was lifted off her feet, but managed to let go just in time. She landed safely, avoiding what could have been a dangerous situation. When working with high-speed textile machinery, keep a safe distance from moving rollers and belts. Loose clothing or fabric can catch instantly, leaving little time to react. Proper training and caution can prevent close calls like this from happening. In a busy factory yard, a team was unloading a massive steel coil from a truck using an overhead crane. The heavy load was slowly lowered toward the ground, but as it neared, one worker stepped dangerously close. Without warning, the crane's grip released, and the steel coil dropped suddenly. It slammed to the floor just beside him, missing by mere inches. A split second later, and the outcome could have been far worse. Never enter the drop zone of a suspended load, no matter how close it is to the ground. Crane operations can be unpredictable, and even a moment's lapse in judgment can put lives at risk. Stay clear, stay alert, and let the load settle before approaching. On a construction site, a dump truck loaded with sand was reversing into position. A worker stood directly behind, watching the movement, but with the truck's massive weight, the soft ground couldn't hold. The rear wheels sank suddenly, pitching the truck into the ground and trapping it in place. Fortunately, the worker stepped aside just in time to avoid being in harm's way. Heavy vehicles and unstable ground are a dangerous combination. Always inspect the surface before reversing or parking a loaded truck. And keep the area clear of people. Safety starts with distance. In a factory workshop, 2 workers were carrying a large, heavy steel slab to another location. The load required careful balance and coordination to keep it steady. But midway through, one of the workers lost his footing and slipped. The sudden movement caused the slab to drop toward the ground. The heavy impact stopped the work immediately, and co-workers rushed in to assist. When transporting heavy materials, always use proper lifting equipment or secure handling methods. A single slip can shift the load and cause serious harm. Clear pathways, steady footing, and teamwork are the keys to safe material handling. In a factory, a worker was walking along the upper side of a conveyor belt system. As he stepped over the section where 2 belts connected, his boot slipped into the gap. The moving belt trapped his foot between the joints, bringing him to a sudden stop. Co-workers quickly shut down the system to prevent further trouble. Conveyor belt joints and moving parts can trap clothing or footwear instantly. Always use designated walkways and keep clear of operating equipment. A few extra steps around the machine are far safer than one step across it. In a storage area, material packed in large bags suddenly caught fire. Workers rushed in, grabbing nearby bags to move them away from the flames, but just a few steps away sat 2 fire extinguishers, untouched. Instead of putting the fire out immediately, the focus stayed on saving the material, allowing the flames to grow. Fire extinguishers are there for a reason, and quick use can prevent a small fire from spreading. In any emergency, people's safety comes first, and equipment should be used before the situation worsens. Training and quick thinking are the best tools for keeping the workplace safe. In an industrial workspace, workers were moving a heavy machine onto a lifting platform. The equipment was positioned, and the platform began to raise it. For a moment, everything seemed stable, but the massive weight caused the platform to tilt. The machine slid off, crashing onto the ground below. One worker jumped back just in time, avoiding the falling load. Always ensure lifting platforms are rated for the weight they carry. An uneven load or excess weight can cause sudden tilting and loss of control. Careful load distribution is key to preventing accidents like this. At a loading site, a crane was lifting a heavy steel plate to place it onto a truck. The plate rose smoothly at first, suspended by a magnetic lifter, but as it reached a certain height, the magnet's grip gave way under the weight. The steel plate fell, striking the ground with a powerful impact. Fortunately, no one was standing nearby when it happened. Always check the rated capacity of magnetic lifters before use. Heavy loads require secure lifting methods and proper equipment checks. Keeping the area clear during lifting is the simplest way to protect everyone. On a loading dock, a forklift drove into the back of a truck to pick up material. The truck was parked against a raised platform, allowing the forklift to enter. But as the forklift began backing up with the load, the truck unexpectedly rolled forward. With nothing supporting it, the forklift, along with its operator, dropped from the platform to the ground below. Thankfully, the driver avoided serious harm. Always secure trucks with wheel chocks before loading or unloading. Even a slight movement can create a dangerous gap for forklifts and operators. Proper docking procedures keep both equipment and people safe. In a workshop, a machine was lifting a large, heavy part high above the ground. A worker stood nearby, monitoring the process. Without warning, the lifted part slipped free and dropped to the floor with a loud impact. Fortunately, the worker was just outside the drop zone and avoided harm. Always maintain a safe distance from suspended loads, no matter how secure they appear. Equipment failure or shifting weight can cause sudden drops. On a busy roadway, a gas tanker had caught fire, sending thick smoke into the air. Traffic was stopped at a safe distance as drivers and passengers looked on from afar. The flames continued to grow, feeding on the fuel inside the tanker. Then, after several tense moments, the heat caused a massive blast, a powerful fireball lighting up the road. The shock wave was felt even from the safe zone where vehicles were stopped. If you encounter a burning fuel tanker, keep far beyond the recommended safety distance. Fires involving flammable liquids can escalate without warning. Emergency services should be called immediately, and the area kept clear until the danger is over. Want to see the complete collection of over 170 factory incident videos? It's all available through the link in the description.